The carriage rocked once again as she heard the coachman yelling for the horses to stop. She could almost feel him pulling back on the reins. What was it now? Why were they stopping? They needed to get to London. The girls would be worried. Irritated at the delay, she leant out of the coach window to see what the problem was. The coach had stopped before a small rickety bridge. Several workmen stood on the far bank. Each carried either a shovel or axe. One of the younger ones had a long timber resting on his shoulder. They stared at her and her coach as if she were from some distant country, not a mere 80 miles away in London. What was it with these people? You'd think they'd never seen anyone in a carriage before. The coachman leaned over. "I don't think it is safe, miss. I think we should go round." Caroline examined the bridge. It was made of wood. Old wood, it seemed. She wondered if it was rotten. Should she send Hampton to investigate? "How long would that take?" she asked. "Most of the day, miss," the coachman said, with a regretful shrug of the shoulder. A full day, another day wasted. She had too much to accomplish in too short a time. Now, not tomorrow, not next week. She had already wasted too much time. Her sister's safety depended on her getting home. She examined the bridge once again. It looked solid enough. Surely the men would have said something if it was unsafe. Feeling that she was making the right decision, she told her coachman to go on. They would cross the bridge. The coachman swallowed hard, then turned and flicked the reins to his horses. One of the beasts neighed as if he wasn't too pleased with the idea, but leaned into his harness and started pulling. As the first horse stepped onto the bridge, the surface of the river was broken by a quick flash, as a shirtless man stood up, like Neptune rising from the depths. Water cascaded from his body, the rivulets of water like silver starlight, as the slow river washed around his waist. Caroline gasped when she recognized the boxer from the night before. The bruise on the left side of his face made her wince. What was it about this man that he had to be at the center of everything? Some men were like that. Her father had been such a man. If there was something interesting or hard, then they had to be in the middle of it. But why was he standing in the middle of the river? Water continued to drip down his body, highlighting each well-defined muscle. She swallowed hard when their eyes locked. The man stared at her as if in shock, then frowned deeply before holding up his hands and yelling, "Stop!" Caroline's heart fell. Maybe this hadn't been the smartest decision after all. She started to tell the coachman to stop, but it was too late. The carriage had already started onto the bridge. In fact, the first team of horses were almost to the far bank. Besides, what right did this man have to tell her to stop? A loud crack from the rear of the carriage made her heart jump into her throat. Mr. Neptune's eyes grew to the size of large medallions as they locked onto hers. The carriage suddenly tipped. What had been a beautiful view of a meandering river and a sea god became nothing but blue sky.